welcome back. We are excited to be with you guys for another season. Thankful for the opportunity to just speak into marriages and lives. If you guys have not left a review for us yet, that is a really easy, free way that you guys can support us. We'd encourage you to do that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can leave a comment. YouTube, you can leave a comment. We would love to hear from you guys. It's always really encouraging to our heart and soul, the emails, DMs, all those things that we get from each and every one of you. And as you guys know, if you have been listening to us or watching us for any period of time, you know that whatever we're going through, whatever conversations we're having, we just invite you guys right along with it in all of its unedited glory. So for this past week, we've been kind of having an ongoing conversation since you got a voice memo from our son. And we wanted to just kind of dive into it with all of you, down to letting you guys actually hear this voice memo. Was it a voice memo? Is that what it was, or just a voice message? I don't even know.
He texted
a voice memo. Yeah,
it was on text.
Okay,
so he just recorded his voice, like instead of writing it out.
Yes.
I don't know if that's different.
This is what I'm telling you. It's a little voice memo, a little audio recording. There you go.
Well, but it would have disappeared in like 2 minutes, but I saved it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what it's called in text.
Well, we wanted to give you guys the opportunity to hear this as well. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you're going to see how ghetto we are going to do this recording because of how much we don't like to do editing. Which is to play it off of my computer. Yeah. So you're going to get a chance to just actually see. Well,
I just thought it would have been better to do that than pretend, like, oh, let's listen to it and then pause for a second and then start talking. Like, it's just better just to play it.
Okay. Well,
that's why.
Meanwhile, when it comes to this, like, I'm going to I want you to know this ahead of time. I'm going to put it on your face the entire time the recording is. So don't make this your time that you do 17 adjustments because you think you're off camera.
I don't.
I swear to you guys, he does this all the time. So
we record off our phone, so there's no red light. I don't know when the cameras switch.
Listen, always assume the camera's on you. Technically the camera is always on you. So make it easier on me when I'm like, oh, there you go. Well, I guess we can't show Brad on camera for that one. Oh.
So maybe we do a live like on stage sometime and then people can just see whatever.
Well, we have done that plenty of times.
Not an episode.
Yes. When we go and speak.
That's not a podcast episode.
Oh, you want to do a live podcast?
We talk and like.
Well, this is that is basically almost like just every week that everyone listens to us and sees. So meanwhile, as Brad takes coffee. He's like, this is my life, guys.
I can't drink coffee. I guess I didn't read the rules to our podcast.
Well, now you know. Unwritten rule. There's a handbook for everything, but only the women hold it.
I guess.
That's the reality of marriage. Yeah. All right. We're going to let you guys hear this from our son. Right now, he is in a part of Africa, and he is doing missions with Youth with a Mission. And it has been obviously a life-changing experience for him, but it has also been very challenging to our own faith.
Not because he's over there.
Right.
It's not a fearful, like we fear for his life every day. Nothing like that. It's just been a challenge
for us to step up our faith.
Way. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And we'll get into all of those details, but we're going to let you listen to this recording first that he sent to his dad.
That would be me.
Dad, like absolutely wild. I sent you a photo and everything, but we decided, me and my friend Emmanuel, the leader Miley, and the guy that just kind of joined us, his name's Joseph. He met him, he kind of is translating and following us. It's been really cool. We decided we want to hike on our free day. And hike up this mountain. Like, it's absolutely so far away. It took us 3 hours to reach the top. We took an hour break, so it was actually 4. Just keep in mind that in total we hiked 9 to 10 hours yesterday. And like, it was wild. It was like honestly a crazy hard hike. We got to the top though, like after like non-stop like hour, like steep, like almost crawling on your knees. And we get up there and we find a village. And all of a sudden, our leader gets a word that there's a man here who needs healing of a limb. And so we ask, we say, Pastor Translator asked him, where's the man whose limb, he doesn't have a limb? And they said, there's a man who his hand doesn't work. And so they pointed across the mountain. And he said, he's over there. If you follow this path, you'll get there. And so we start going. We just go. And we're like, okay, like, what the heck? Why not? Yeah, we passed through every village on that mountain to get there, to find out that that village has never heard the gospel, never even seen a white person before. Like, this is like the unreached of the unreached. But we felt the Lord tell us we were there for the one. And so we passed every village. We actually, me and this guy Joseph, we encountered a witch doctor who saw us in the woods and fled when he saw us. It was honestly crazy. And he disappeared. We couldn't see him after that. Drink water out of a river. Absolutely wild. Wash my face with the river as well. Wash my hands. The Lord blessed us with this man. Just randomly gave us a sugar cane because we were starving. And then we reached this village. We reached that little village. And I don't think, Dad, I've ever preached the gospel with such boldness. Like, we literally said, like, even as a team, like, I remember I was like, I preached the gospel. And they're like, we're not something, we don't want Jesus. And I said, listen, there was a man here, his hand was paralyzed, and the wife, her knees were, like, really bad. She could barely walk. And we were like, and I told him, I was like, Jesus is going to heal her and him because how much he loves them. And this could be proof to you that Jesus is real. He's going to prove himself right now to you. So we pray over the girl, and her knees are completely healed. She kept getting up, jumping up and down. She was like laughing and smiling. And then before we moved on, I gave an analogy what the Trinity was, using a lemon. About there's a completely Holy Spirit led. It was like the peel, there's a flesh, and there's a seed. And I told the man this, and he said, I understand now. And then I looked at the son, and I said, Jesus loves you, so he's going to heal you. At first he felt cracking in his hands, and his hands started to burn, and the pain in his forearm was gone, but he couldn't lift his arm up because the vein literally popped out of his arm. So we prayed, we said, out of faith, keep lifting your hand up when we're praying. And all of a sudden he started getting excited. He started like going crazy, and he's like, I feel no more pain. And his entire family started laughing. They're like, this is wild. And then we just like kept going. We started preaching the gospel. And even the dad started he was like getting interested. But the thing was that we just this guy, Emmanuel, had the word of the Lord over him. And it was like, you don't just make decisions. You want to know before you make a decision. You want to lead your family the right path. And this is the only right path. We gave a Bible to the son, the daughter. We got 4 people got saved. 5 people got saved, salvation-wise. We gave out 4 Bibles. And no, we gave out 6 Bibles. And this man, the father, he ran up to us. And he was like, please give me a Bible. So we gave him a Bible. And even the neighbor gave her life to Jesus. We gave her a Bible. Like, absolutely wild, Dad. It was the most insane thing ever. Like, it was crazy. I'm not even sore this morning. Like, I feel so ready for Nepal. Love you guys.
So I woke up. I was traveling, and I woke up to that. And then I was texting him, and then we ended up talking on the phone for quite a while. So he gets in a little bit more detail on some of the, what was going on. But it just is, it's just amazing. One, they just went on that hike for fun. They weren't.
Which is just, our kid was like, I get one day off. We've been we've been going all over, doing all these crazy things. He sent us pictures of his hands today. Brad showed me, and I'm just like, as a mama, I'm looking at his hands, which are just literally blistered and just like little open wounds, like all over his hands. And I'm just like, ugh. But he's like, yep. He's taking a machete and doing all these things. And
yeah. So, I mean, they went on the hike, like you said, they ran out of water at some point. That's why when he talks about drinking out of the river, they weren't expecting, I guess, or I don't know if they weren't expecting to go that far, if they just didn't, plan it out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that far. And then even this random guy just shows up out of nowhere along the hike and gives them sugarcane. So if you guys haven't had raw sugarcane, it's amazing, especially when you're hot and, and you need that energy. Like I mean, here it's a big thing. Like you can go just get raw sugar cane and chew on it. But anyway, and they offered to pay for it. And the guy was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm just giving this to you guys, you know? So it's just like these little, you know, prayers being answered that they didn't even necessarily pray. You know, they're just kind of like doing their thing. And then the witch doctor thing, when I talked to him on the phone, I was just like, you know, he retold the story, you know, of everything. And I forgot a few things. And like, I know you talked to him for a while, so you know also, but he retold the story. And when he was finished talking to me about the witch doctor, so that whole thing, they'd encountered witch doctors in other tribes. That's a normal thing there.
Right.
You know, it's just, so they weren't surprised when they saw the witch doctor. But I guess what was surprising is before that, you know, just individually, they had prayed to themselves against witch doctors for no, like Gage was like, I don't know. I just felt it that, you know, I should pray for that. So he did. Then when they saw this witch doctor, Gage said it was like, he looked terrified. And did it say he was wearing a cloak on the story?
No,
because
not on this.
when you're talking to him, when I was talking to him, he said his face was all tatted up and he had like a cloak on. And when they saw them, he said the guy just went from like, you know, I guess evil to like this scared look and took off and just ran. Didn't say a word, didn't say anything. And then I'm probably getting the story a little bit wrong, but then he said that they went to a village and they found out that was the witch doctor from that village. And he said that guy, I guess, had ran through the village. He just kept running and didn't, like, couldn't say anything, couldn't speak, just kept, you know, leaving. And I told Gage later, and I was like, man, can you imagine what he saw? You know, like, because this is like this is spiritual warfare.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you are a believer in Jesus, if you're a follower of Jesus, then you are in spiritual warfare. I mean, you're in spiritual warfare whether you believe it or not, honestly. But like the recognition, like what Gage is actively living out is much more of that realm that we are so distracted that we don't even have to see here.
Well, I equate it, you know, hearing Gage talk about all these things, I equate it to, you know, the physical, you know, physical warfare, physical operations that we do, and we're going out and doing these things, and, you know, civilian population, it's like they hear stories or they watch movies, but it's just kind of like they know it's there, but they never really, you know, it's just kind
they're
of
not
like
directly
thing.
involved in it, so you just kind of get to live your normal quote unquote everyday life without that being at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, and I'm hearing Gage's stories, and this is just the most recent one.
Yeah.
You know, and just hearing, like, you know, I mean, I told him, I was like, man, that he couldn't be there, right? Like the witch doctor couldn't be, like we talked about last week, like couldn't be in the same room with light. Like it, you know, because everyone recognizes. I mean, in the Bible, it talks about how demons were like,
yeah, they believe in Jesus.
They looked at Jesus. They were like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you here? We didn't do anything. You know, like, don't punish us kind of deal, right? Like,
yeah, you and I had this conversation in the car when we were talking about this. Is I was like, it's so fascinating to me because, like, in this scenario, or you know, witchcraft and sorcerers, all these things, right? And they recognize that God's power is greater, and yet they serve. They serve evil. They serve Satan, and I don't understand it. And I thought you brought up such a great point about it.
I had heard a pastor randomly bring this up recently, and he was just talking about how it's the instant gratification you get from, you know, I mean,
succumbing to the flesh.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, and it's the whole, all the temptations, all the things. You know, you hear. I just recently again heard of an artist. I don't know her name. Some singer was talking about how, like, she had this, you know, quote unquote trippy dream where she was promised all these fleshly things if she just did this, and she did it, you know? And it's just like, that's why,
It's
right?
like you had said, it's like that instant access to
to all
power,
the things,
to, you know, like we're promised as Christ followers suffering here on earth, you know, and we have an eternal promise.
For a finite amount of time, right?
Right.
You know, 80 years, 90 years on earth, and then you're gone. Like, you know, but yeah, it's the instant, it's the worldview of what success is.
And it is the same thing that, you know, Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness, right? He offered him everything that Jesus had came for without the cost, without the suffering, without the sacrifice. You know, it's like, and when you really think about it in that way, it's like, it's just the same tactic that the enemy is continuing to use today. But listening to Gage's stories, you know, just him living this out is, man, I think it literally that day, I mean, I just listened to this and wept.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, that is the God that we serve.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I had forgotten that they had gone through a few different tribes. And so what's so significant about that, one, they didn't know they were going to run into anyone. Tribes, and they're with a local.
Yeah.
You know, and they had no idea they'd run into tribes, and they did. And then their whole mission for being there, not just, you know, specifically that hike, but there, while, and the reason why he's gone is to share the gospel with the unreached, you know? And so when they come upon these villages, these tribes, and they hear about the lame hand and, you know, all those things, they don't even stay when they find out that the guy is not there, that he's in another, because God had told them, like, you need to go, this is what you're going to go do now. Like you know, you went out on this hike, you're doing all these things. Now this is what you're going to do.
Yeah. For the one.
Yeah. And so then he said they didn't, you know, preach into these tribes. They just, where's the guy with the messed up hand?
And I think it's so crazy too. In all those places in the tribes, the same people are all just like, over there.
Keep going. Next tribe.
Over there. They all know. Like they all know who this man is. And that's what's so crazy too, is just like, you know, there's no mistaking that, oh, you're here for this one. Okay, there you go.
Next one. And then, and just the conviction of, well, I'll get into it more, but, you know, then he, you know, gets there and they don't want to hear about the gospel, right? And they're like, oh, we're Muslim. Yeah. Like, you know.
They had heard of Jesus, but only as a indistinct prophet, you know, not
because
the savior of the world.
They recognized that he was a real person, you know, but not the Messiah, not, you know, not God. And so, yeah, they're like, no, we don't want to hear it, you know, kind of like it's not for us. And he's like, I want to prove to you who the true God is. Like that's huge. Yeah. I mean, how, like, that's what's so convicting. I'm like, man, the faith. Because Gage was like, I'm not going to sit here and debate theology. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to do any of this. This is what's going to happen. Because God told me this is what's going to happen. Yeah. You guys are going to get healed today. You're going to find out who the true God is. And not only did they get healed, but other people saw it, all for the glory of God. This has nothing to do with like the power Gage has, you know, nothing like that. No. This is all God and showing his glory, and
a display.
They walked away from that village. What did Gage say? 4 people gave their lives to Christ. 5 people gave their lives to Christ. Well, he said he handed out Bibles, but I thought he said
5, and then 6 Bibles passed out.
Yeah, and then passed out 6 Bibles. And who knows what's happening now?
I just feel so, you know, I sent this to a couple we had done a reboot with and who's been praying for Gage. And I sent them this and she's like, I just feel so strongly that entire village is going to come to know Christ. But even more so, I feel like, you know, as I'm thinking of these villages that God had them go through, right? But asking one question, where is the guy with the crippled hand? Yeah. They know that these people that were on this mountain, and Gage said they don't ever leave that mountain because it's too far to travel. Yeah. Like they stay there their whole lives and never had any visitors come up to them. Right. Like, and so he's like, they all have like given this message. And I mean, who isn't going to go find out what happened to this man?
For sure. That's spread through all
Like,
those villages.
I just believe that entire mountain is going to come to know Christ. And that is just like unbelievably humbling to me. Cause even like how God orchestrates, like my word goes forth. And I have to say, like, it's been the most fascinating experience because when you and I went through everything, I read through Isaiah, and Isaiah is like kind of like this tough and amazing book of the Bible all at once, because there's a lot of, really destruction and failures and all these things in a huge chunk of Isaiah. And then you start walking out like this restoration path that God has. And there's all of these like eternal promises for us. It's not just like Israel at that time. It's like there's a lot of things, and the foretelling of Jesus on the cross. I mean, there's so much prophecy that's in Isaiah. And I have felt like God has given me this like unique, beautiful thing that I'm going through Isaiah again, and Gage is over there. And as I've been going through Isaiah, there have been things that Gage has been going through over there. And it has been like just aligning. Like, I feel like God has been giving me little promises. And so like the day that, I got that voice memo from you about him, I'm literally reading Isaiah. How beautiful, this is Isaiah 52 verse 7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who publishes peace, who brings good news of happiness, who publishes salvation. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, so humbling, first of all, like that God has given this little like gift to me to be able to just kind of like in my mama's heart, like just, like how much he has Gage covered. But then also just like, so like literally up on the mountain, like that's what was so crazy to me even, is just like these little details, like how God's word is living and effective right now where you're at. Like, this is the God we serve that orchestrates this group of young people to be on a mountain. And on the same day also lets me read literally a verse that brings that to full picture for me. Like, this is the God that we serve, and it's like, I realize that we have a marriage podcast and we're talking about, our son and doing ministry, but it's like, but this is the God we serve. Like, this is the God we serve. And, Brad and I have over and over and over again talked about like the greatest thing that you can do for your marriage is your individual walk with Christ. But it's like crazy to me because we don't take that seriously. It's still like, well, what he needs to do and what she needs to do. And I need God to do this for me and I need God to change it. And it's like, oh my gosh, like we're making God like so small.
Yeah.
And it is so convicting. It's just, I don't know. It's just really unbelievable to me and beautiful. And I'm so humbled by it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Listening to him. Yeah. We have a marriage podcast, but it's also, and we've never hid our faith on this. Like, this is all based on what God can do.
Jesus.
Yeah. And so, now, I mean, I feel strongly that this is exactly what we're supposed to share. It's like the old thing I've always said. Like, I've always I used to apologize because it just seemed like such a simple answer to so many problems. Then I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to apologize for this because this is what you should be doing. And it is, seeking your relationship with Christ, like building that up.
Yes.
Once you start building that up, now your marriage starts getting stronger, starts becoming better. You're still going to fight. Yes. You're still going to have disagreements. You're still not going to, all those things still happen. We're human. It's not like you're going to have this, perfect marriage with no, issues or no struggles or no anything come up. Like, that just happens and that's fine. But they're not as big anymore because your relationship's in Christ. Like, your priority is your walk with Christ, period. You know, it's not the other things. But also, like, as a Christian, right, you guys are Christians, you're married, you're going through these issues. or you see no hope, all these things. Why isn't God doing this for me? Why isn't God like, well, what are you doing? Not for your spouse. Like, what are you doing? Are you studying? Are you trying to, get deeper with your relationship with Christ? I don't necessarily mean like breaking scripture down and getting into all that necessarily. Like maybe that is something you do, but I'm talking about like, are you spending time with God? Like, what are you doing to strengthen your relationship with Christ so you're getting away from, like Paul talks about, we're drinking milk, right? Like here's the milk because you're an infant in your relationship with Christ. Like, are you still drinking milk?
And satisfied with it?
Yeah, I know plenty of people that are like this.
Yeah.
And the reason I know they're like this is because I've never seen them grow in their walk with Christ, ever. They're satisfied with where they're at and they're just drinking milk. And then they let little things become big things. And then that can start division, especially in a marriage. And like, just like the snowball effect where you should be striving. You don't have to be, you're not trying to be a preacher. You're not trying to be a pastor of a church. You're not trying to, have a ministry, but you should be striving to know more about your walk with Christ. I want to know more about the Bible. I want to be like, here's what hit me with what Gage did. Is we talked on the phone it was quite a while. And his thing was like just hearing him speak about the boldness, right?
Yeah.
Like how bold. And he's like, that's probably the most bold I've been. And it just started, I just started doing it, right? That's pretty bold, right? Like, hey, God's going to heal you today.
Yeah.
Like before we leave, you're going to be healed.
Yeah.
Like that's bold. That is, exactly what he said. He's like, you're going to know who God is. Like you're going to know the power of God today. Like you will realize this. And so I had been in San Diego for a week when this happened. And I had a lot of downtime after work. And so I would, I stayed like kind of close to the base. So I would just
sending me food pictures.
Yeah. So I would just like, I would just walk all over and, I wasn't too far from like Seaport Village, those of you that know California or San Diego. And so I'm walking there one day, and this is like early in the week before I even talked to Gage. And there was like 4 young adults. Well, first of all, there's all these little like stands where you could buy T-shirts and stuff like that. And then there's like the henna tattoo stands and tarot card reading stands and like all those,
all the things that they want you to look to instead of Jesus.
So there's all that kind of stuff going on too. But I get to Seaport Village, and for those of you who've been there, there's kind of like a little, like, not trail, but like little tiny peninsula, little shootout, has grass, and you can kind of walk on the edge of it. And so I was walking out there, and there's these like 4 young adults. I don't know, all boys. They couldn't have been maybe in their early 20s. I don't know, probably younger than that. And they were all like 3 of them were in front of a phone, and his phone was on a tripod, and the guy's recording. And I mean, they looked ridiculous. Like they were wearing regular clothes underneath like a cloak, right? They all had it. Again, it was ridiculous, right? No one was paying attention to him at all. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people just walking by, and you just kind of look at them, and you're like, okay, those people are weird, right? I do that a lot.
I was going to say, I feel like that's 90% of the people.
That's a normal reaction to me. So I walk, the sidewalk kind of goes around him, so I'm walking, and I'm by myself, so I'm just like listening to everything going on, just whatever, right? Just killing time, seeing the sights. And I hear them talking, and I couldn't really hear a lot of what they're saying, but I heard this one thing. And it was along the lines of, Jesus isn't the only way. He isn't, and just started like he's not these things, right? Directly contradicting the Bible, like 100%. Yeah. And then said something else I couldn't really understand. But like in that, I heard that, and like in me, there's this, switch, for lack of a better term, right? It was like this switch came on in me, and I was like, that's not right. Like, of course everyone would be like, that's not right. But like, I meant like in me, right? Like that, for those of you that followed us for a while, I've had like justice like issues, right? Like
justice issues.
Like I want justice,
right.
And that's what we've called it, right? Justice.
Yes.
Now that I'm saying that and you laugh. I don't know.
I'm just laughing at you calling it justice issues.
But, it's like I have a strong, like I want, you do this, like this should happen kind of deal, right? And even though we've talked about it, like there's grace, and I'm glad that I wasn't held to that stand, all those things. I know those things. Like don't get on me about that. But I just, in my, my soul, like I felt this like fire of like, that's not right. And it shouldn't be allowed, right? Like this, and I look at these kids, and again, they're kids. I mean, that doesn't make it, I'm not excusing them. They're kids. But I was looking at them and I'm like, okay, I go over there. Like, what do I say? Like that's wrong. And then, okay, maybe they're going to say this. And then what do I say? And I'm trying to figure out.
Play out the whole thing.
This is like, I've spoke at men's events. I've coached other men. We coach couples. We go to a couple like churches and speak. Like this is not like, I'm not afraid to speak.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I was like, I'm not ready. Right? I felt this. I'm not ready. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell you. And so I just kind of like, shoved that feeling deep down and just walked away.
That's Brad's advice, and he's like, oh no, never mind. He goes, it doesn't stay down there.
No. And I just kind of shoved it and just walked away. And it bothered me like throughout, not just that day, like throughout it bothered me.
I got you.
Because I would be, like watching something on YouTube and I would see this, this pastor, and he's on the street, not a street pastor, like he's a pastor of a church, but they're, like got social media or whatever, he's on the street and he's talking to a guy. And the guy's contradicting the Bible, and he's not argumentative. He's not starting a fight. He's like, I have a question for you. And he starts asking him questions, and the guy's like trying to answer and he can't. And he's like, well, if you believe this, then you have, and just opens up the Bible basically. Yeah. But he's not, has the physical Bible there. He's just talking. Right. And I'm like, and then when it got done with the video, the guy's like, I don't know if it changed his whole view on everything that other person believed, but on that topic, you could tell that dude got something, right? And so that pastor was able to like, hey, this isn't right. This is the true gospel here, right? And so it just kind of bothered me throughout the week. And then I talked to my son on the phone. And so those of you that have kids, let me tell you, usually this is how it goes. Like you talk to your son on the phone, your daughter on the phone, you get done and you're like, you know what, let me pray for you, and you just pray for your kid. Right, and hang up. Not with my son. Right? So he's like, all right, like he says when he has to go. Right. So it's kind of like how our kids work anyway. They unload on us.
You're going to talk to me until I'm done with you.
Yes.
And then when I'm done with you, I am done with you.
Yeah, and I have to go. Like I'm not.
You have further questions? No.
Yeah, exactly.
You're out to dinner? I need to talk right now.
This is exactly how our kids operate. So anyway, he's like, all right, I got to go. I was like, okay. And he's like, but before I go, I'm going to pray for you. And man, like he prays for me. I'm on this balcony and at the hotel I'm staying at. And I'm like not bawling, but almost, And, we get off the phone and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, soaking in what he prayed about. And like one of the things that he prayed, and he didn't know any of this. I didn't talk to him about this stuff. One of the things he prayed, he's like, I pray that he's like, I pray that my dad has confidence in you and what you've called him to do. I pray that he's bold in you. And he just goes on and on with this, And then we hang up and I'm like, gosh. I mean, because, and this is what was hitting me all week while I was over there. And really it just been like, like not struggling with it, but just like thinking on
Yeah.
it, you know, just sitting on it it's like, why didn't I go to those kids? Because I felt unprepared, but not combative, but just going up to them and like, hey man, I want to talk to you guys. Like, because this isn't like, oh, these people are weird, or, oh, they're not cool, or, you know, I could potentially get in a fight, or, you know, all these, this is an eternal thing, right? Like you look around at people, and this is what's hit me this whole week, is you look around people and do you honestly want someone to not be with God for the rest of eternity? I mean, that's the question, right? That's
Right.
really what it comes down to. Like, are you so non-confident, so shy, so worried about whatever, about looking stupid, that potentially someone doesn't get the opportunity that God has put in your heart to give them?
Right.
Right? You can't make them do whatever.
Well, and
with
it's
that.
like we make it about us, right?
That's really what it all comes down to. Like, why didn't I go to those kids? Because I was insecure.
Yeah.
I was insecure not in God. I was insecure in myself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, what if they ask this? What am I going to do? Like, I can quote some scripture, but I can't just bring up, you know, like you see, like I've seen a lot of this on social media and YouTube now, you know, again, probably because I watched one and now
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
but where, you know, someone says something to the person that, you know, the Christian, the follower of Christ says something to them, and they're like, well, yeah, but in 1 John, blah, 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 this is what it says, you know, and then, well, what about this? Well, you know what? In blah, 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 this is what it says. And it's like, I have some of that, but I don't, like, I can't just grab, you know, like, oh, you're talking about this? Hold on. This is what it says in the Bible, you know? And not saying that I can't look that up on my phone, you know what I mean? But, and so that's where it really hit me. I was like, why am I so insecure? Okay, they asked me something I don't know. Well, I have my phone with me.
Yeah.
Like, let's look it up, you know? But also giving them, allowing God to use me in that.
Yeah.
You know, and not being afraid. You know, I did a video about this. Like, you know, why are we not as bold as other people? Like the tarot card reader person.
Just, out there. Like, yeah.
Just out there, right? And they're trying to make money, whatever, right? But they're just out there, right? The henna.
Unapologetically.
Unapologetically. And that's it. Like I said this in the video I sent. I was walking one evening, and it must have been time for prayer for Muslims, and this dude rolls out his prayer carpet right off the side of the sidewalk, points the correct direction, kneels down and starts praying. Unapologetic, like not worried about what anyone else thinks, not worried about anything. Just literally like, oh, it's time, you know, I'm gonna go pray right here. And then I'll get up, roll my car back up, and go do whatever I was gonna do. But it's time. I'm going to pray. And he's not worried about homeless guy on the corner right there. He's not worried about the tourists walking around. He's not worried about anything. He's like, no, this is what I have to do.
This is why I feel like so much so, well, number one, I mean, you and I even talked about it, is like that element of knowing that God does tell us not to worry about what we're going to say, and that he'll give us those words. But I'm with you. Like even in Gage's story, I'm thinking of where I would have stopped. Where would I have stopped?
Yeah. I would have loved to be able to tell someone. I would have walked in there and said, I don't care what, you have your messed up hand. Today it's going to get healed.
Yeah.
You're going to find out who God is. Like, I would have loved to have been able to say that. And what's crazy is, like, we'll say things like that to marriages, like for relational, you know, side of things, for how God can touch you and how he can heal your emotional side and all those things. And it's like, man, like, okay, why can't
Yeah.
You know,
but where do we stop?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I think that I'm just like, that's hitting me so much is like, I mean, for those of you who listened to me for a while, like if I'm out of water, I'm going to stop.
Yeah. 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 Lisa to turn back around. Like,
I'm like, I'm probably not going to reach the top of the mountain because I'm like, guys, I'm out of water, so I'm going to die.
Would you have drank out of that river?
I know. This is all the questions I've asked myself. I told myself, yes, I would because it's up in the mountains.
Okay.
And like I had this whole thing in my head, but I'm just like, but here's the reality. This is the thing. Like, not everyone's called to go to that level of missionary work, but you are called to spread the gospel wherever you are, right? If you are a Jesus follower, he says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, right? And that can be in your home, that can be in your work. Like, and for whatever reason here in the United States, I feel like we are just at this like stopping point almost where we feel that we have to hold back the power of God.
Yeah. I wouldn't just say America. I'd say all first world countries.
Yeah. It's like, but this is who I serve, like, and I just think about all those little areas when Gage and these, young people that were with him could have stopped in that journey. It's like, okay, we reached the top of the mountain. That was all they were going to do. Yeah. Right. And then they come to a village and then they say, no, there's no one here with a hand. They're way over there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. We're going back down the mountain.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what we came here for. We're going to go to the top of the mountain.
You start rationalizing.
You start rationalizing. And that's exactly what you experience too in that moment. It's like we start saying like, but this is the logical stop to this. Yep. Right. Like,
or even I'll even go like here. So even while, I was doing my traveling stuff, I had gone to this cool little pizza shop, got like way too much food. It was huge slices of pizza. I got 2 because I wanted to try like 2 different flavors. I didn't know if I go back. So then I cut it.
He did, by the way. He did go back.
Go back. So, because that's how good it was. So I cut each one in half, and it equaled like one slice, one of their regular slices, right? So I ate that. Then I boxed up the rest and I was walking back, and I was walking to this one area downtown, and there's a lot of homeless people in San Diego, a lot, like, I mean, tweaking in the middle of the street. Like it's sad.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy, but it's sad. And people just walk around them, like, oh, there's a homeless person, just kind of like, hopefully they don't yell at me or, and, so I saw this homeless lady, and she's like digging through the garbage cans. For those of you that ever been to San Diego, I was in Little Italy, and there was like a area where you could just sit down, right? You can go get something to eat, drink, whatever, and just sit down in this open area. And that's where she was. So there's tables of people, restaurants, people sitting on and I'm not saying like all this is bad. Like, oh, how dare they sit there and eat. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying, like, there's all these people there eating, right? And this one homeless lady is, like, digging through the trash right there. And I have my 2 slices that I probably was going to eat the next day. And, or later that night. I don't know.
Yeah, that's likely.
We don't know, right? And so.
I feel like I know.
Yeah. So I'm walking away. So I watch her doing that, and I can't understand what she's saying. Like a different language. Like, not a language I know. Like, it was just weird, right? But I'm like, whatever. And so I get up and I start to walk away. And then I feel this, like, give her your pizza.
Yeah.
Just give her the pizza to her, And I'm like, yeah, like, I've already eaten. I don't need this. And so I, like, do this circle back around. And I go up to her and I was like, hey, would you like this pizza? And she's like, yes. And so I hand it to her. And then she just takes it, and starts gibberish. I don't know what she's saying now, but she's looking down back at the trash can and going. And so I just left, right? And so, like you're saying, like, how far or where do you stop, right? Mm-hmm. Like, why didn't I, like, hey, here's some pizza. You know what? Is it cool if I just pray for you? Like, why didn't I just get extra
Go the
things?
next step.
I felt that I should give her pizza. Like, I had walked by, I don't know how many homeless people some with when I had the pizza, some when I don't, but I don't feel like this, like that where I have to like, hey, go talk to that person or go do, you know, like I don't feel that every time I pass by someone. I just felt like I should give them pizza. And now I'm like, well, yeah, I should have probably, hey, I don't have to be here. And there's not this huge grandstanding thing I want to do for you, but here's pizza. You're
Meet
clearly
the need.
looking for food.
Yeah.
I have food for you. And you know what? I'm just going to pray for you.
Yeah.
Like not, you know, anything crazy. I'm just going to pray for you. Like Jesus loves you. I'm just going to pray for you. You know, I don't know her story. I don't know what, but I didn't do it. And like that whole week, especially after Gage talked to me, I'm like so convicted that, you know, here, I mean, I don't hide that I'm a Christian. Like people at work know. They know I have I don't know if they listen. They know I have a podcast. They know I have, you know, they follow me on Instagram, whatever. Like they know who I am. They know how I, you know, they know us, you know, so I don't hide it from anybody. But also like, am I just kind of in the shadow, you know, not trying to be in the light, like spotlighting.
Yeah.
But am I just kind of like off to the side, just like, all right, yeah, you guys know I'm a Christian, cool. And, you know, just whatever, where, you know, like, hey man, let me just pray for you real quick. Like, why
it's
not?
convicting.
It is like all this is just.
And it like, I guess what's in my head over all of this is, that phrase of just like, where do we stop short? And like in all areas, right? Like in our marriage and
Why?
parenting, like
I would say,
why
the
do we stop
question
short?
is,
Yeah,
why
that's good.
do we stop short?
Yeah.
Like what? That's my question right now to me. Like, why do you stop short? Why didn't you just pray for that person? Like, were you afraid to like get close to them? Because I mean, let me tell you, like there was some like legit, like on something, craziness going on.
Speaking of spiritual warfare, like
that too. But like, you know, just put your hand on someone, pray for them.
Yeah.
Right. Just, you know, going down to, you know, like kneeling down. Cause I saw a lot of, and I'm thinking of the homeless people right now that I passed, but like kneeling next to one. Like, hey man, can I just pray for you? Like I don't carry cash.
Yeah.
I don't have any money I can give you, but
I have the ultimate thing.
Yeah. You know, like why
like
can't I
this
just
gift
do
that
these
is
things?
free.
Yeah. And so I just,
convicting.
like why do we stop short? And in your marriage, why do you stop short? What is it that you stop short for? Like, it's not just this relationship with Christ. The priority should be a relationship with Christ. And then that shouldn't make you stop short of anything. And then as you're building this relationship or reconciling with your wife or going through these issues, whatever the issues are, where is it that you stop and why are you stopping short of what to do next out of
because
pride?
they aren't, because I'm scared.
I think for me, it's insecurities. Like that's why I stopped short. I remember when I was first asked to speak at a men's event and I'm like, I was excited, but also I'm like, what? Like, what, you know, that's not, I don't feel qualified. You know, I don't feel, you know, I know that's like the usual thing you hear people say, but that's really how I felt. Like I do not feel qualified to do this. And, you know, just the whole thing that comes with doing that, you know, and it's, you know, we profess to, you know, to want to be like Jesus more and more every day, but why are you stopping short of what he wants you to do?
Yeah, it reminds me this last Sunday you weren't there because you were too busy sending me pictures in San Diego of various food that you were
so good.
you were eating. But we had a guest speaker who talked about this 2-degree tilt. And he gave a story. It's an awesome story. And I don't want to get into all the details of it, but basically, you know, this battleship that I think it's captain on board. I can't remember what, I think it's captain. But he, you know, basically got his mathematicians together and figured out that if they flooded the torpedo tube, that they would be able to tilt this ship 2 degrees to one side and be able to then launch their weapons in order to get into the enemy territory and help rangers that were trying to break through. And he's just talking about what it would be if you just tilted 2 degrees. And this just it ties into what I feel like all this is. It's like this 2 degree shift, right? That changes everything. All of a sudden, there's breakthrough, right? Because even in this story, the Rangers ended up being able to break through enemy lines, right? And it's like, but stopping short, just looking at the obstacles, just looking at the things that, make us feel insecure, looking at our spouse and feeling like there's no way that this can be different. There's no way that can change. And it's like this 2 degree shift that if we just really accessed and really believed that the power of Christ abides in us, how would we live our life? Me too.
Oh my God.
Me too. Like, I mean, how many times am I not really living in that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what you're saying is exactly what we're hearing from our son. Like, it's a team of them that unequivocally know that when Jesus said to go do these, like Jesus said, you have the power to heal, you have the power to cast out demons, you have this. He said these things, then go forth, right? And you're seeing that. Like, they know. No, Jesus told us this. Like, it's in the Bible. Like, this is what he says. If we believe everything to be true that's coming out of the Bible, like, what are we doing? Like, this is what he says. And then going out, and we're just hearing one story. I've heard 2 or 3 so far from Gage about healings that he's seen.
Yeah.
That's just a fraction of everything they're experiencing. And it's like, and it's all to get people to follow Jesus.
And by the way, this isn't people who need to have, 3 songs and a perfect message. No, this is just the power of Jesus on display.
Yeah.
That's who we serve, and I think like, that's what we need to recognize. When we say like, I can pray for you, what we're doing is inviting the power of Jesus into that relationship, into that situation. And I think that the challenge for this week is to look like, where do you stop short and why? Like, or just why do you stop short?
Yeah.
Why do you stop short? I think that's such a great question. I'm going to be asking it of myself, because I know there are, if I just even think about this story, I can name about 7 places that I feel I would have stopped.
Yeah. I mean, according to a little Instagram poll we did, out of the 6 people that voted,
yeah, guys, come on.
majority of people are struggling this as well.
Yeah.
With how bold they are. One person was like, absolutely not. I don't know who that was. But out of those,
I never struggle. Okay.
But out of those 6 people that voted, there's probably more that voted now. I haven't checked. But anyway, the overwhelming number was that people do struggle with this. And it's like, we have the freedom in our country to not struggle with this.
Yeah, that's what makes it so crazy to me, because I think that almost makes it worse for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, we're like, oh, but everyone, freedom, we all have the freedom. And so I don't want to like infringe like upon your freedom. And but it's like, but there's freedom in Christ.
And it's all like that. Oh, well, we could just coexist. The stupid coexist sticker. Where I hate that sticker. So I'm like,
guess what? Hell and heaven don't coexist.
Yeah.
Just
you
FYI.
Can't have all these different, it's wild. But like, why am I scared and not bold like that? That's just, that just bothers me.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.